Earlier this month, our friends at Orca Coolers released the Traveler and the Camper. Get a handle on your chaser with their Traveler and take your mug on the go with the Orca Camper. State-of-the-art drinkware designed, powder-coated, and shipped out of Nashville, Tennessee. Keep your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold. Make all those memories last with Orca. Use code DADSEASON and you will save 20% off your order at orcacoolers.com with code DADSEASON. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at Action247.com. If you want action, get in on the action with Tennessee's only sportsbook by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Make sure to use code DADS100. They will match your first deposit up to 50%, and that is up to $800. So if you deposit $800, they will match $400 of that first deposit for free just by using code DADS100. There's a lot going on. Make sure to check out all the sports. Go to Action247.com. See the other awesome things that they have. They have specials all the time. Check them out at Action247.com. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at DistilleryProducts.com. If you want wholesale laser etched glassware at the best prices, really good quality, go to DistilleryProducts.com. Make sure you reach out to me. I will get you in touch with them. Carson, Janie, Vicky, the whole family that works at DistilleryProducts.com. They also have cool swag products on their site as well. All the distilleries use them. If you are a distillery, a bourbon group, a podcast, maybe you're a blog, whatever it is, reach out to me. I'd love to get you in touch with the folks at DistilleryProducts.com.
So we skipped this, and honestly, it's probably like a month removed now. But apparently, National Beer Day and National Burrito Day in the U.S. are on the same day. Why?
This was like a month ago that you had this, and you've been sitting on it.
Oh, I type in my phone. I tell you, because I don't want to not have something to lean on.
I know. If you actually had a commitment to this show and you would record with me, we could get these done in a timely manner. And then you could have had your cold open when it was closer to beer and burrito day.
Well, I didn't know until the day of, because that's how everything in life is. But either way, how do those two things happen at the same time?
At least it's not like beer and pizza and beer and hot dogs. Like, what if beer and pizza day were on the same day?
I feel like beer and burritos are worse than beer and pizza.
You think so?
We can let the audience judge. We'll take that as some feedback, I suppose. I just think it was very poor planning on someone's part to have both of those together.
Or was it excellent planning?
Only for like Roto-Rooter.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us part of your day, and thank you for listening to this special Saturday release of Dad's Drinking Bourbon. It is Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Everybody's working for the weekend, including Zeke Baker, which is very hard to get him to do. How are you, my friend?
I'm still alive and kicking. I had my sabbatical, as you like to tell everyone, and then you had your under the weatherness. So it's tit for tat or chip for shot or whatever.
I feel like you got the better end of the stick.
I was definitely ill with a stomach bug post-skiing.
I know, but I did not have any fun first. Like, it wasn't like I got extra fun and then got sick like you did. It was, hey, I just happened to be living in my house and people brought germs in and got me sick. Zeke's got nothing to that. He's not even responding. So we're just going to move on. He's got things he wants to say, but he's not going to say them. I could tell. There's some line or something he has established in his head and realized that it's not the right time to cross that line. So for that, I want to say I'm proud of you, buddy. You're growing up. And you get a gold star for today, because if you heard what his original cold open was, that I had to get him to change to something else, I'm really proud of him right now. This is progress. This is growth. You are a great individual, my friend.
I'm just going to put the placard in now. I'm going to retell that story at some point, though, because it is truly one of my favorite stories.
Maybe it's just to you and me and a couple of friends over a couple bourbons.
Fair.
I do want to say for the person who put a YouTube review in today who said it shouldn't take 25 minutes for us to do a review, he was not a fan. It's okay. This is going to be a shorter show because I'm not feeling too well. My smeller isn't working the best. But, I'm sorry that guy doesn't want to get entertained. We're not for everyone. It's okay. I will take his feedback. I will discuss it with the Brain Trust, Mr. Baker, and we will see if we can get any better. But, personally, I feel like I don't want to give everybody too short of a show. I kind of want to entertain y'all a little bit. And I kind of feel like it's a disservice to the distilleries if we don't talk about the whiskey and why we think the way we do a little bit longer. I know that guy is not going to listen to this. I just feel a little bit better getting this out.
I literally can't think of anyone that ever complimented me for being quick at my skill.
Just saying. We have variety. We have short and long. We got both. The interviews are long. The reviews are short. And I just feel bad doing a shorter review than that. Long story short, we're talking about Barrell. See what I did there? I said long story short. That's like dad jokes. But don't shh. There's Barrell Bourbon Batch 32. And in Batch 32 of Barrell Bourbon, it is a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys distilled and aged in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana. It is a selection of 5, 6, 7, and 10-year-old barrels. They're bottled in Kentucky, aged in American white oak barrels, and proofed at 115.34 proof, putting the ABV in at 57.67%. Any questions?
I don't think so.
What I do like about what Barrell says, though, is it does kind of talk about, so our last show, we talked about Bardstown and kind of how this went, right? And they actually have on the website, it says Batch 32 began with a balance of 2 sets of barrels, a selection of 5 and 6-year-old barrels with a creamy and tropical profile, and a selection of 6, 7, and 10-year-old barrels vatted for their complex, old, woody character. These 2 sets of barrels were slowly blended over 3 months. A small group of spice-driven 7-year-old barrels with notes of cinnamon toast, coffee bean, and chocolate were then carefully added to complete the blend. So they did tell you their thought process of how they blended this, which I thought was pretty cool, especially considering the conversation we had the last show.
Fair. And I guess I would also maybe even venture to say, since we've got a running joke or theme here on relationships, the Barrell relationship might be more up and down than anything I've ever had. Every time they send us their releases, and we're more than happy to get them, and I really appreciate it. And it's like love, 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 love. I mean, it's a pretty tough roller coaster sometimes.
I don't think it's as much as you put. I mean, not every.
I love some of them so much. Like, some are literally for a cask strength whiskey. Give me a straw. I'm good. Which this day and age is hard to find. So maybe to your credit, some things push the bar to a point to where, we're still kind of millennials, a little too old, maybe not, but we can get away with it. Like, it just wasn't quite as amazing as the last one.
Well, I don't even think it's Zennials is what they call us. It's like we're the in-between Gen X and millennials. Like we have tendencies of both. So I tell people, like, because I didn't have a cell phone when I was in high school, you can't be a millennial and not have had a cell phone in high school. Like I had a pager, and the only reason I had a pager is because my parents were both first responders, and they would literally page me what time they were going to pick me up at school. Like I would literally get a page from my mom that said like 6 o'clock. And so I know I had an extra hour after practice to go hit the weight room. Like whatever it was, my mom would just text me what time she was coming to get me. And then half the time, because she was running the emergency room at that time, if she couldn't come get me, she would send the paramedics to come get me. And then the paramedics would be outside of school and they'd get on the loudspeaker like, "John Edwards, please come outside. John Edwards, please come outside." Like somebody would be like, "John, there's paramedics here for you." So long story short, I had a pager. I didn't have a phone. I didn't even have the snake phone until I was in college.
So when that happens at the gym now, it's not something you're unaccustomed to. You can't throw that kind of lob and not expect it to happen.
What happened to you not making fun of me while I'm weak?
I mean, you went above and beyond.
I gave you a gift tonight like you wouldn't believe.
I'm also amazingly thrilled at the word pager because, down here in
Beeper?
Yeah. Below the Mason-Dixon line, it was a beeper.
It was both. I mean, I was trying to be proper. I mean, I called it a beeper.
Plus, when it went off, it was like, beep, beep, beep. I was even going to say, on a very brief tangent note, but very brief. Did you ever have like the point to where you hated texting, like back in the day, before it was all unlimited? So you're like, hold on, I only got so many texts. Like you're blowing me up. Like my phone can't handle this.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Look at it now. Who wants to talk to a single soul? No, man, just text me. I'm not talking to you.
No, I mean, back in the day when you only had a certain amount of texts, and then the cool thing that happened for me is I had Nextel because my dad was a cop and we got a deal for Nextel phones. So the ones, they were half walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
No, they weren't like beep beep. It would.
That's what I mean. The walkie-talkie. Yeah.
Yeah. And the worst part about it though is like people could sit there and like cuss and say bad words. Like if you had another friend that had a Nextel phone, they could just hit the walkie-talkie thing and be like, shit, and like it would just come through your phone.
Oh man.
I mean, my family, we all had Nextel because of the police. I don't know why like the police got such a deal on Nextel, but I remember I liked it because it was the Motorola flip phone, which was like the cool thing to have before like the Palm Pilots and the other stuff started coming out. But it was that Motorola flip phone that was did you ever have a T-Mobile Sidekick or no?
No, man, we didn't have that in Georgia.
We were always Verizon, so I never got, and then I moved to AT&T later on, but I did have the Palm thing for a little bit though. That was cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual first phone was.
The Nokia.
Well, no, that was the second one. I had something different before that, but the Nokia was the second one. And since then, I could probably tell you which ones I had. But no, it's funny you had the walkie-talkie. I always thought it was a great idea to a degree. It just
imagine being in a job interview and it's like Zeke Baker sucks, and like you're going through on the wire. If you're stupid enough not to shut your phone off.
I can't imagine that being any different from now. And I just looked at someone and says, "I'm sorry. Some of my best friends are assholes."
Anyways, we talked about this for way too long. I'm glad people really know about that guy who complained about us on YouTube is going to be like 10 minutes of talking about cell phones, 2 minutes talking about whiskey. Going back to this barrel, I mean, I think every blend is going to be different. And sometimes you blend things together, especially when you're blending as much together as they are. It's 2 sets of barrels, but there are 5 and 6-year-old barrels, 6, 7, and 10-year-old barrels, and then more 7-year-old barrels. And they don't say how many of each. At the same time, like there could be a lot that you're trying to kind of juggle here and go ahead and find it. I just thought I got a little singe. I did get things I liked about this one, I will say. I did get a little singe on the roof of my mouth where that wasn't my favorite thing. I don't think this is a terrible batch. I just think that there's a lot that I did like better. There are some batches of this that I'd really be like, oh man, that's the batch you got to go find. And this one I'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's good if you find it. It's got a little singe to it for me, but if you can find it, cool. Does that sound bad? I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm with you though. And I mean, I tried to, almost be third person on it because I agree with you. Like, especially in the mid and into the finish, there's a singe that just lingers and it just throws it off for whatever reason. But at the same time, all right, this is blend 32. They've been doing this a while. I mean, they could easily phone it in. Hey, what worked the last time? Ah, sweet. We need to put some more shelf stock out. Go dump it again. I mean,
and let's just try to recreate it and tweak it just subtly each time.
I mean, that and that would be small batch for Lord knows how many distilleries, which obviously isn't a bad thing because you have a consistent product. But at the same time, change is good. I'm happier that they push the envelope and are, always receptive to tinkering and trying different things for better or worse. It's like either one of us would tell our kids. Sometimes you do well, sometimes you kind of fall or fail. But end of the day, you learn from it and you keep growing and doing better and advancing. And that's just part of life. not to be too broad spectrum, but I mean, I respect and I appreciate the fact that they do continue to tinker all the time, try different things, outside of these batches. Lord knows how many finishes they've done, other things, blends with finishes. I can't imagine how to even wrap my head around all that.
And all the older stuff they have, the 15-year stuff, the craft series, the Stellum stuff they're doing. I mean, they're not just blending 32 batches of Barrell. There's a whole lot of other stuff they're doing, and they've shown they're amazing blenders. I also think, too, it comes down to palates, right? Because our palates are different than other people's. You might taste this and not have the singe. Who knows? That's the beautiful thing about whiskey, is that everybody's palate is a little bit different. But it is funny, though, for Zeke and I that normally do have opposite palates. If we both get the singe, that's a little interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, stranger things have happened, right?
So a TV show about that.
I guess I would...
Zeke, you'd strike me as a Bridgerton guy. Have you been watching Bridgerton?
I know what that is.
I feel like you've watched the whole series and you're just trying to deny it right now. I have not.
I was just going to kind of loop it back into Nashville and Brothers Osborne, one of their cuts is, I'm not for everyone. That's fine. This may or may not be your batch, but I guarantee you they have one that is.
That's their whole quote?
No, I was extrapolating.
Oh,
I'm not for everyone is a song cut.
And that's
you
fine.
The country, John?
I do, but I'm saying I'm not for everyone. That's not quoted to Brothers Osborne. There were people that said that before them.
I mean, they got a song called it, I think.
Think or
I think. Never sound too sure of yourself. That's when they get you. Just like Amber Heard. Cold open coming soon.
So, long story short, my friend, it may not be for everyone, but I would say it is worth an ounce. It's always worth an ounce of your time. If there's one thing you can get out of Dad's Drinking Bourbon, we'll tell you what we really think. This one is not our favorite batch of Barrell, but if you can get an ounce of it, try it. If you could get a pour at a bar, try it, because you may not have the same reaction we do. I just kind of found a little bit of that hot pizza, the cheese was too hot on the pizza and it scorched the roof of your mouth, but that was just me. I know Zeke kind of felt the same.
I did, but I did not have a 6-inch pizza tonight, just to clarify the records. Thank you to Barrell for sending us this bottle. We do love all the stuff you do, and we know that there's a lot that's going on. So each batch is different. Make sure you try them all. Like Pokemon, you got to catch them all. And go ahead and find us on Facebook at Dad's Drink. What? Sophie's into Pokemon lately. Why are you putting your head in your hands? Go ahead and talk. I mean, don't make me edit. Are you going to get on Pokemon Facebook groups now instead of bourbon Facebook groups? No, I'm just saying, you got to catch them all. I mean, maybe you can trade booze for it. I don't know. They trade Pokemon cards? I know. Maybe you can find a hybrid booze Pokemon group. Sophie is 6 years old and she's already trading Pokemon cards. Hey, I just hope if you move with DDB Willett, you get an amazing card. I am not getting that deep into anything. No way. If my kid wants there is a line where I'm going to be like, listen, kid, this is a Pokemon card. You got to teach the hustle, right? Yeah, but if you want the better card, you hustle and find it. You don't take daddy's booze to get it. But where's the gray area between teaching the hustle and the moment they look at you and they're like, but Dad, that's not really a fair trade. I'm winning. I don't know. Go ahead and find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Zeke, where else can the folks find us? Contemplating life and raising children in Nashville, Tennessee. Cheers. Ciao.